Old sales funnels and business model, they don't work anymore in 2026. This is why what I'm going to show you is the most effective way to scale your coaching or service business in 2026 this year. Now, if you don't know anything about me, I'm an experimenter. I love experimenting. And also I'm a big fan of simplicity. And until a few years ago, my business was a nightmare. It wasn't, I had too many different offers, I had too many marketing channels, and piecing everything together felt like building this Frankenstein business that, to be honest, it never really worked out. And what I want to show you is a business model that I think is going to be going to give you a big advantage, and also help me make a few millions in my business. So I wanted to show this with you. Now, this business model comes down to a fundamental principle, and the principle is that people spend first, before spending money, they spend their time, then they spend their trust, then they spend their money, and then they spend their words. So let me repeat it again. People spend first their time, then their trust, then their money, and then their words. What does it mean is that actually, if you're looking for clients, instead of asking yourself, how can I get my clients to spend money with me? You need to ask yourself, how can I get my clients to spend time with me? Because time is the most valuable currency. And if you think about it, it makes sense, because before someone buys something, there is an education process. Education comes before the transaction. So it's always education before transaction. That's why you're creating content on social media. That's why you're creating content on YouTube. That's why you're creating podcasts. That's why you are creating email newsletters. That's why you are creating blogs or whatever you're doing. It is really to educate before the transaction. But not all pieces of education, they are the same. Because if you think about a piece of content on social media, or a short YouTube video, or a short podcast, you're not building the same level of trust and relationship. Because remember, the first thing is time, and the second thing is trust. But trust is really linked to how much time your prospects spend with you. The more time they spend with you, the more trust they will have, the more confidence they will have in spending money. Then if they love what they see, they will gonna tell everyone and spread their words. And so this is the fundamental principle of this business model that I want to share with you. And this is how my favorite business model works. I'm a huge fan of having a webinar and a presentation on the front end. Basically, your webinar or your presentation can be in person, can be online, is the focal point, is like the center of the universe of your business. This is where everything starts. All your potential clients, they're directed to the webinar. All your new clients are directed to the presentation. Every time you are speaking in a podcast, you can use part of that presentation. And this is a presentation that is designed to get the client, the potential client, to say, I trust you, I trust what you're telling me, and I trust the offer that you're giving me, right? Because the time is there, and so we need to shift to the currency of trust. And trust comes with education. So you have a webinar, which is a presentation that can be an hour, sometimes 2 hours, sometimes 45 minutes if your audience is senior directors, for example. 30 to 45 minutes is enough. But if you're trying to sell something directly, or to make a sale, or to get a high value clients, even having a 1 hour to 2 hours presentation will make an incredible difference. And that's why you're building that trust, you're building that relationship. And your webinar really needs to answer 3 questions. Why they should work with you? What is your business philosophy? So what is that you're sharing with them? What is it you're telling them? What is it you're educating them on? And then will it work for them? So can I trust you? Can I trust your offer and your method? And will it work for me? And so that becomes now the core of the presentation. Now, once you have that, you can decide to sell into different ways. Let's say that you deliver a presentation via webinar, or you deliver a presentation via live event, for example. You can decide to sell into different ways. The first way is to make a direct sale. Let's say that if you have an introductory offer, this is a big part of the business model that I love, is selling with an introductory offer. An introductory offer is something that is easy to buy, is something that gives a quick win to the customer, and is something that becomes easy for you to sell as well, easy for you to explain. You know, something like lose 2 pounds in 30 days. I don't know. Could be build your webinar in 30 days. That's one of my introductory offers. You can have fall in love with yourself in 2 weeks. You can, if you are a law firm, for example, it could be create your first contract for your employees, for example. So something which is simple, that has a specific outcome, is short in delivery, and is designed to wow your potential clients and say, oh my God, you are amazing, I want to work more with you. Because then you can go to the next step, which is a more personalized sale. I love selling through an application sale, which is then the second level of sales. So when you're on a webinar, you can decide to do two things. You can decide to, or you're delivering this presentation, you can decide to sell directly that particular offer. Remember, it needs to be an impulse purchase. It needs to be something easy to buy, something that starts their relationship. And depending on the market that you're in, if you are selling to something like a big piece of consulting to a senior leadership team, you know, you're not going to sell something directly. That's not how they buy. You're going to go through an application sale. You're going to book a consultation and then go through your natural sales process. But what happened is that now the trust is built. They see you as an authority. They see you as a leader because you had that webinar or that presentation in the first place. And it's much easier, way easier for anyone to buy something from you after they hear you, or if it's your team, they hear your team, or they see your team, compared to contacting someone and say, hey, we got this product or this offer, do you want to buy? Can you see the difference? If someone has been educated for an hour, someone that books the call or someone that buys something, they're way more pre-qualified than any other person that hasn't watched any educational material. So that's why I'm a big fan of this business model. So number one is that you sell with an introductory offer. And number two is that you instead direct people to an application call where they have to fill an application form to work with you. I really love that business model in particular because if you don't want to sell an introductory offer, something lower ticket, you can immediately go to the higher ticket sales, but you know that everyone is already pre-qualified. They want to work with you, they've seen the presentation, and they now are invested in working with you because they have applied to work with you. And so that also what goes down to the next principle, which is personalization. You know, what happens is that unless you have a huge audience, which is one scenario, but unless you have a huge audience, then the name of the game of sales is personalization now. And with an application close, with an application sale, you can really personalize the offer to the person based on what they fill out on the application. And this is, for example, a business model that you can have. So you can start from free presentation, free webinar or live presentation. Then either you sell something directly, and after they buy the introductory offer, you do an application sale for the higher ticket, or you can go directly to the application sale from the higher ticket from the webinar. So the difference is that if someone buys an introductory offer, one, they are more likely to buy also the upgrade, which is coming from the application sale, because one, they've already spent money with you, and secondly, also there is more trust that is built because they spent even more time with you. But every business model is different. So you can go directly from webinar to introductory offer to application sale for high ticket, or you can go to webinar, application sale to high ticket. These are the two different options, and the brilliance of this business model is that it's incredibly simple, because you have the same presentation. It's only one presentation that you deliver over and over again, and you take on tour. Because as long as you have new people that go through the presentation, that presentation is always new to them. So for example, I've been delivering my presentation Get Clients with Webinars for 4 years. 4 years is the same presentation. Now, I've updated it, I've changed it, I've modified it, because presentation is like a living, breathing organism. Like, you will have an idea, you hear a prospect talking, like every single thing that you learn from one-to-one selling, you'll put it into your presentation. So it will always evolve. But ultimately, it's still the same presentation. So once you've done the work once to set up this business model, then is scalable, is infinitely scalable. Because it just matters how many people, one, you can handle, and how many people can go through your webinars. And that's where you can use partnerships or paid advertisement or cold outreach to consistently fill your webinars with new potential clients, and then the script repeats. So if you're looking for a very predictable, very repeatable system that is very simple and has not many moving parts, because either are 3 moving parts or 2 moving parts. Right? Either you have the webinar, the introductory offer, and the application, or you're going webinar to application. So you have either 3 components or 2 components. And that's why this business model is very predictable, scalable. And with all this business model, I've tried doing 5-day challenges. I've tried cold outreach. I tried to do live events. I tried webinars, presentations to other people's stages. I delivered more than 2,000 presentations right now. So it's a bit crazy, right? But that's has been the one that I said, okay, I can put my stamp on this business model. It's the one that allows me the most freedom and flexibility in the business, and the most simplicity, and the highest revenue. So I get all these 3 combined. So again, make sure that you implement this business model. If you are looking to simplify it, think about, okay, what can I remove? If you don't have a presentation in the front end, it starts with that. Remember, your webinar, your presentation is like the focal point, is like the center of the universe of your business, and everything else comes from there. And that's why I love it so much, because from your webinar, you can make sales, but also you can create short form content for social media. They come all from your webinar or presentation. You can create long form content. You can create multiple blogs from that presentation. You can create email sequences from the presentation. So once you have that focal point, that focal presentation that works, now the uses on how you can repurpose it are almost infinite. You can think about any marketing channel you want to use. It's going to be there. So it all starts from that presentation. And in fact, if you're looking for some tools and resources, check the description, because there is the webinar conversion kit, which only for $30 helps you create a high converting webinars or presentation that educates and sells at the same time. So we want to get people to have an incredible experience working with you and buy at the same time. So you can check it out. It is in the show notes. It is in the comments, in the description. Doesn't matter. Depends on where you're watching it or listening to this. So that's it for today. This is the most effective way to scale your coaching or service business in 2026. I'd love to hear your thoughts and your comments, so please pop them below, because I can create new videos as well, expanding on this business model. So any question, any comment that you have on this video, please pop them below, and also remember to like and subscribe. I cannot wait to see you next time, and always remember that together we grow exponentially.